Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we are on our second part of the peace table discussion. And in the first video we talked about calming and bringing personal peace to ourselves. Today we are talking about using the peace table as a means of resolving conflict with another person. So let me go ahead and set up my table. You would still have all the normal materials that you might have available for the child in the peace table, the fish or the sand tray, that sort of thing. But we are going to also have on the table, in my case, a peace owl. You could also choose a very beautiful stone. I've been a little nervous about these because stones are thick and heavy and can be launched, and sometimes lots of emotions are on display at the peace table. Or you could have a key. Quite traditionally in a Montessori setting, there is a wooden rose, and in my classroom, which I couldn't access for this video, I have palmetto roses that act as our peace rose. So what happens when two siblings or two friends have a disagreement? One person might not know there's a disagreement, and ideally that is the moment when the child calls the other child to the peace table. When the conflict escalates to a shouting match, the peace table is more difficult to navigate. But the moment that the child is hurt by the other child and goes to work to resolve the conflict, not only are you more likely to resolve the core conflict and not all the peripheral stuff, but you are also more likely to have the other child be more amenable to the proposed solution that the aggrieved child might give them. So let's talk about the process for the peace table. One child is upset because another child has taken his pencil without asking, and it was on his mat, and he saw it. At that moment, instead of walking up and grabbing the pencil back, the child would walk up and say, "Let's go to the peace table." The child would pick up the peace owl and hold that in one hand. Taking the other hand, place it first on the table and then on their heart, and that lets child number two know that child number one wants to speak. And there is a very formulaic way that we approach this. First, we state our feelings. I feel sad, I feel hurt, I feel angry. Things like that happen first. We state feelings, then we state what the other child did. So we haven't compounded the problem by now shouting at the child trying to take the pencil and the other child trying to hold on to the pencil. We have gone straight to the core of the matter, which is my pencil was taken. So child one states, says the other child's name, "Daniel, I feel hurt when you took my pencil and I wasn't asked. Next time, would you ask?" So the third step is to offer a solution to the problem. You're not just accusing, you're trying to resolve the conflict. The owl is then handed to child number two, and Daniel, ideally, because we haven't really gotten too much emotion involved, would say, "Elizabeth, I'm sorry that I hurt you when I took your pencil without asking. Next time, I'll ask first." Now he has then stated my name. He has said that he is sorry for the feeling and the action that was caused, understanding both my interpersonal nature and the act that caused my feeling, and then agreed to the solution. And that works for most little kids. Most small children actually do really well at the immediacy of bringing people to the table right away. The elementary kids, it may become a negotiation. And then the owl becomes very important because the second child might say, well, you had not been at your work for more than 2 hours. I just needed the eraser to erase something and I was going to bring it right back. Well, that's great. There's a reason, there's an understanding, there's a logic there, but we are now going to need to pass the owl back to child number 1 so they can still respond. And then we can go back and forth and work it out. Occasionally, conflicts are not resolved in this one sentence back and forth from the children, and then we have to have a classroom meeting to kind of listen to both sides and look at ethics and look at the family rules, classroom rules that have been agreed upon prior. And an adult really has to be in the process of that to make sure that no one is throwing power around in unhealthy manners. So every time we're going to look a person in the eye, we are going to state first their name along with what feeling we have, followed by what the other child did to cause that feeling. And then we are going to offer a solution. We pass the owl. The other child places one hand on their heart and holds the owl and acknowledges the feeling and the action after stating the first child's name. And then we work our way backwards and forwards, agreeing till we come up with a solution. Now, dear parents, this is really hard because your child is going to bring you to the peace table. And you have to be willing to recognize that just because you're the parent, the child can have feelings about that and needs to be able to express those feelings, and you need to be able to receive that those feelings exist, and to some degree or another, negotiate back and forth on how to resolve this in the future so we don't have an escalation of upsetness. You can also bring your child to the peace table. It has to be done in a very low-key, very non-emotional way. You have to create a really safe space for your child to be at the table. And one of the ways of doing that is to say, "Dear Andrew, I feel unheard. When I asked for you to set the table for dinner, you ignored me and kept playing." Pass over, let the child make their one-sentence statement if they need to. Allow the child to come up with the "in the future I will" statement, especially for the elementary child. And you can negotiate that down. It might be as simple as saying, if I give you a 3-minute warning so you can wrap up what you're doing and then come and set the table, would that be helpful? And that really might help a child who has an executive processing issue to be able to be successful as a member of the family. So our goal is not to bring the child to submission. Our goal is to have a working, functional family. So, thanks for watching a lot of theory and not a lot of action today, as we have discussed our peace table. One last note is that for the peace table to work, and for any positive disciplining to work, you have to be willing to be a part of community. And if a person decides that they are more important than the community and they don't care about the community as a whole, then this is not a structure that will work for them, and we will need to have some discussions about helping them understand the importance of community. So thanks for watching today. It has been a pleasure to talk about the peace table with you. I would love to hear about your peace tables and about the spaces that you create to help people come into an understanding of peace within themselves and with each other. Like, subscribe, comment, do all those things, and I'll see you in the future. Thanks. Bye-bye.